Hey everybody, welcome back. Tack för sist, välkommen tillbaka. So I'm kind of in between jobs right now. And what I mean is we're painting a house, exterior of a house during the day. And here in about an hour, we're gonna head to an interior we're doing. We've been working on for a few months. It's a giant interior job and we can only work at night. So we finished working on the house for the day, taking about an hour off in between. That's why I'm in my paint stuff. And we'll head over there here in not too long and probably work till about 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight, and then get up and do it again tomorrow. Which is cool. I mean, we are trying to get where we're doing way more work in Utah, so it's all good. But as we were driving home just now, this song came on. Billy Squire, Everybody Wants You. And I told her this story about how I think that song came out in around 81. And my buddy and I used to go ski, and we'd always have our Walkmans with us, if you remember the old cassette Walkmans. And I had that cassette, that Billy Squire cassette, and if that specific song came on, Everybody Wants You, man, I had no fear. I could ski much better. I just had less fear or apprehension or whatever you want to call it. I would go down hills. I wouldn't go down if I was listening to Air Supply, for instance. And it's kind of funny how music has that power over us. But when I told her that story, she goes, yeah, it's kind of like music, the soundtrack of our lives, which is absolutely true. Music has been a gigantic part of my life. So my dad listened to old country, Eddie Arnold, Charlie Pride, Jim Reeves, that kind of stuff. So when I was really young, that's what I listened to. But I remember, I believe it was my 12th Christmas. No, it had to be 11th because we were in Norway for my 12th Christmas. And I got one of those old clock radios, remember, with the flipping numbers, kind of like Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And it had, it was clock radio. So then I really started to discover music, rock music, pop music, whatever you want to call it. And I had that thing on literally 24 hours a day. It was just always on, whether I was in my room or not. At night, I would go to sleep with it on. I would listen to music constantly. To this day, most music from, say, the mid-'70s to the early 2000s, if a song comes on, I can tell you the artist and the name. And newer country from about late 80s, early 90s to pretty current. I kind of stopped listening to the brand new country just in the last few months. But anything in there, I can name the artist and the song. It's just a useless skill I have. Excuse me. But I started thinking about how music is such a powerful thing. On my TikTok channel, which is the same name, by the way, Norwegian Arnold, I do a lot of lip syncing. Sometimes I'll sing, very rarely. And the songs have such power over me, and not just me, I think most people. I did a song the other day, Toto, I Won't Hold You Back, from 82. And that song instantly takes me back to a specific place and a specific time. I remember it so clearly. I was dancing with my girlfriend. It was the last dance of the night. I was getting ready. So this would have been in February of 83, like mid-February. I was getting ready to go on a Mormon mission. I was going overseas for a year and a half. And, we didn't officially break up or anything like that. It just kind of was, hopefully I'll see you when we get back. And it turned out we did date off and on for a couple of years after I got back. It was kind of a cluster, yeah, that's a whole nother story for another day. That dragged on way too long. But that specific song is just a cool memory in my mind. I can remember it so clearly, like I'm there. And it's not like I have any feelings for her anymore. I haven't seen her in decades. I'm happily married for 30 years. but it does take me back there, and I get those feelings, and I can feel the emotions I felt then, and man, I'm not going to see her for a year and a half if I get to see her at all. I mean, I probably see her, but I didn't know that we would date again for sure. And it was just so intense. And, there's so many songs like that. I could name dozens of like 70s songs, mid 70s to early 80s, that just have this power over me. And I stop what I'm doing, whether I'm driving. Well, I don't stop, I don't literally freeze in place like Jim Carrey in, what was that movie? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where he just stops because he's like, I have nowhere to go. But I stop, what I'm thinking about, and I am transported back in time to that. A lot of times it's got something to do with a girl, whoever I was dating at the time. You get connected to certain songs. My wife is really into like Oingo Boingo, Depeche Mode. So if that comes on, I instantly, I think about her a lot anyway, but that comes on, I'm thinking about her, because Oingo Boingo is like one of her favorite bands. And I've even started listening to some of that stuff. That was never really my jam, but I like so much music. Garth Brooks has a big place, because when he was really big is when my first marriage was kind of starting to fall apart. So I found solace in his music, but I also found kind of hurt in it, because it kind of went along with the time period of my life where in 93, 94, my marriage was falling apart. We got divorced in October of 94, but it was falling apart for a while before we actually officially got divorced. So, music can have a powerful thing for happy memories, but it can also bring back kind of sad, melancholy memories. They're not sad for me now, because there's no emotion left there for her, other than, she's the mother of my child. I hope she does well, but that's it. But it's just really powerful how, like I said, when I'm skiing, I can ski better with good music. If I'm driving down the highway and a song like, I don't know, Jay Ferguson, Thunder Island comes on, and I'm just by myself going off on a job, I'm driving across the prairie, over the Rocky Mountains, or through the Texas plains, or whatever, I will just crank that song, open up the window, and just jam to it. I'll sing full, as loud as I can sing. And it's just, I don't know, it releases endorphins, I think, and it makes you feel good. And it doesn't have to be an upbeat song. It can be a slower song like I Won't Hold You Back, or like Chicago. Chicago has a special place because it was my wife and I's first official concert was up at Park City, going to Chicago. But Peter Cetera, who was the lead singer for Chicago and left in 86, I believe. The girl I was dating at the time, we were very serious. We talked about getting married. Glory of Love came out, his first single. And that, I hear that song now, I'm transported back to that time with her. Again, nothing weird or, connection to her anymore, other than she's part of my past. I've told the story before about how I had that dream about her and she had the dream about me after we hadn't seen each other for a long time. It was very weird. You can go back and find it in my videos if you're interested. So anyway, I'd love hearing what kind of experiences you have with music. Is there certain kinds of music? When I hear reggae music, for instance, I'm back on a cruise. We've been on quite a few cruises, and one of my favorite things to do is to go sit on the Lido deck. They don't have it as much anymore, but they used to have live bands all the time. Now it's mostly DJs. But it would be some reggae band. I'm floating through the Caribbean on a beautiful sunny day, sitting with my bucket of beers on the Lido deck and jamming to some cool reggae music. So if I hear reggae music, I'm in the Caribbean or Mexico or wherever. It transports me, and it's such a powerful medium. I'm curious if everybody has that connection to music, or if it's just some of us have that connection to music. there are very few big hits from the 70s and 80s that don't have some sort of connection for me, either to something I was doing with buddies, or a girl I was dating at the time, or a place I was in. And I just think it's so cool how it can have such a strong effect on us. So I'd love to hear your stories. If you got similar experiences, if you got a certain song that it's like, I hear that song, boom, I'm back. That song by Boz Scaggs from Urban Cowboy, Love, Look What You've Done to Me. That song, that's got some strong emotion attached to it too. I could list endless songs. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on, but I won't. So I'll keep this video a little bit shorter today. I gotta get ready to go back to work again. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. I hope music fills your life. I hope you have that connection to music, because to me, it's a really special thing, and it's very cool. And it'll bring back memories that I haven't thought about for years. I'll hear a certain song and boom, I'm like, if I hear the night, sorry, I was gonna end it, but I gotta tell this. If I hear The Night Chicago Died by Paper Lace, or Billy Don't Be a Hero, I am back as a 12, 13-year-old kid at Lake Blaine in Montana, outside Whitefish, Montana, Kalispell, Montana, going to the little pool hall there on the lake with the jukebox, and that song played probably a dozen times a day. And, you know, Andy Kim, Rock Me Gently, Lobo, Me and You and a Dog Named Boo. Like I said, I could go on forever. I better stop, or I will go on forever, and you'll get bored if you're still watching. If you're still watching, thank you very much. I hope you have a beautiful day. I appreciate it more than I can tell you that you're watching these videos, and looking forward to reading the comments. Have a blessed, beautiful day. Peace. Love.